Today we're going to be going over the repair of the 83-inch power supply for the Samsung OLED from 2024. The model number specifically is QN83S90D AEXZA, and the issue we've been seeing recently is actually physical damage from shipping. So these four boards I have on my desk today aren't damaged in a way that a transistor is bad or a fuse is blown, but it's physical damage for transportation. So all of these boards initially were fully working, but when they were delivered, there was physical damage to the transformers. And that could be because of improper packaging, or also because this board is extremely heavy, it's very large, and these transformers only have 4 pins connecting them to the board. Now this has been an issue we've been seeing more and more recently. Last week alone, we fixed 3 of these boards with that exact kind of damage, and this week we got 4 more with that exact damage. So it seems to be actually very common, which is why we're going to be covering it in today's video. So as you can see, the 4 transformers, they're not in a correct row, they're not lined up right, they're bent, they're crooked, and if we look at it at an angle, we can see that they're no longer properly connected to the board. And this is an issue on all 4, so this one's a little bit more rigid, it's on there. As you can see, electronically, the wire is actually loose and it's no longer soldered to that pin anymore. And the same thing goes for these other 2 boards. Now this is one of the boards we've already fixed last week. And as you can see, to reinforce it, we actually applied electronics gasket on all 4 of the transformers so that when we send this board back out, we know for sure that these transformers aren't going anywhere and that the board will arrive in fully functional condition. Now we've been fixing these boards for about 6 to 9 months, and we haven't had any one of our customers say that the board arrived physically damaged or non-functional. So most likely this is a combination of both the board being extremely heavy and these transformers not being properly, I guess, soldered down to the board or in a better way or in a more reinforced way. But it also most likely has a lot to do with the packaging choice from the sellers, whether it be eBay or independent sellers. Most likely all 4 of these and the other ones that we've been fixing last week are simply from not being packaged correctly. So if you're a seller and you have one of these boards for sale, definitely make sure that you're using enough packaging material so that the board cannot move around within the package. So we're gonna start by fixing this unit right here. And I'm specifically picking this one because it's the worst one of the 4. So the first thing I'm gonna do is line these up correctly. So we're gonna physically move them, and we might actually break it further, but we have to move it so it's lined up right. Yeah, and I can see it's breaking over here a little bit. Because these are so bent, what we're gonna do is I'm actually gonna remove this pin over here and this pin over here. And the reason for it is those are no connects and they're there for just supports, and we don't actually need them in the system. Now on the other side, the same goes for the left pin over here and over here. Only the right pin over here, and from this angle, my left over here are required. The joints are covered in silicone, so we're gonna remove that. If you have a defective power supply that you would like to send in for us to fix, we do offer the flat rate services, which come with a 1-year warranty, and those are available on our website, which I will link in the video description down below. And there we go. Fell right out. Now there's no need to, but we're just gonna clear the hole. We'll repeat the process over here. And you know what? I didn't clean it with the metal brush, so we still have a little silicone there. Let's remove that. And it looks like that pin also fell right through. No, not quite. There we go. And we'll also clear that hole. Perfect. Now we will notice that this joint that I just removed the pin out of has a trace that goes here, 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 all the way over here, and goes to these resistors. Now, why is that? I have no idea, because that pin does not connect to anything within that transformer that we just removed, so it literally goes to nothing. Doesn't really make sense to me. If any of you have any information on that, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, I finally got the front left one to snap into place with just the 1 pin, and now we'll want to go ahead and solder in the wire back to the pin. Okay, there we go. Let's move over to this one. And this one is going to be a little bit harder. It's quite a bit more bent, so we have to physically move that back. There we go. Now it's snapped back into place. There we go. Okay, and we're back in business. So I put it back on the post. I don't necessarily want to remove it, but these are loose. They are going to break again if we just leave it at that. And so this is why we use premium gasket for electronics. Not all gasket is for electronics, so make sure that if you are doing this, use the gasket that is made for electronics. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna squeeze a little bit of it right in here. And we'll repeat the process. And we definitely don't want to be timid. We want this to be reinforced in a way that will not break again, because if it breaks again, it most likely will not be serviceable. Most likely the transformer wire will probably snap and be too short at that point to properly rewire into the board. I mean, it still technically would be repairable, but it's going to be a lot more difficult the more times that it breaks and needs to be repaired. Now, I'm not going to touch the other side for now. Let's fix these two first, and then we'll go ahead and add gasket to the, to the center area. Now, the center area does have 4 wires and 4 pins, so those are less likely to break. And the external, so this side and this side, only have 2 pins for a transformer, which is why it's more likely to break on those sides. So we'll go ahead and attack these next two a little bit differently. We're going to do it from the top this time around. So we're adding solder, getting some flow, and I'm going to grab the pin with my needle nose. And this one, the pin is very bent. Same process, add a bunch of solder, and we'll use our needle nose to remove it. These are a little bit more bent, so we are going to want to straighten it out. And this one is actually pretty straight already. So on this side, for this one to be lined up correctly, we actually need to push the transformer back a little bit. And right here is where it's supposed to sit normally. And you can see maybe, I think, right here, the wire comes back around. And so it's supposed to sit right here and wrap around the post, just like that. There we go. And for this one, the post is not broken in such a way that we can't actually feed it back in. There we go. Just got it. And we'll wrap the wire around. There we go. Yeah, right now I'm actually trying to wiggle the transformer, but it's not moving at all, which is good. So same deal, we're going to add our gasket now. Oh, and I just noticed something actually. I will point it out in just a minute. Let's tackle the other things. We'll make sure that the circuit board is fully functional, and once we've confirmed it's fully functional, we'll go ahead and lock in that other side. All right, so what did I see just a moment ago? Right here, this screw is very loose. So I don't know if you can tell, but that screw is almost half to 3/4 unscrewed. Whereas you can compare to this one, it's very nice and snug against the transistor. Now it does look like this transistor was actually replaced, and you can also tell from the back right here. So I'm going to start by hand tightening it, and we'll do the rest with the screwdriver. Okay, and we're going to do a quick check with our multimeter, and I just want to make sure that the transistor is not shorted. 78 kiloohms, 70, okay. And that's probably going to be about 10 or 25. Okay, no, that's fine. Quick other check is the fuse. Let's see if that's open. No, and that was definitely replaced as well. And the most common failure, which is this transistor right here, and we're getting 0.6 mega ohms, which is good. That's what we want to see. And 70 kiloohms. Let's see, we have 0.8 mega ohms, which is good, and 0.5 mega ohms. Here's what we're going to do. Because those readings seem just a little bit off, let me compare to one of our good boards that we refurbished in-house. 1 mega ohm on one side and almost half a mega ohm on the other. Let's check these guys over here. Half a mega ohm and half a mega ohm. Let's try one more time here. Half and half. However, on the physically damaged board, we have 78 kilo ohms and 70 kilo ohms. That is actually a problem. So here is what I have concluded. I have rechecked the whole board. I cannot find any reason why the board would have those types of readings. The only thing that would make sense is either they did not replace all of the shorted components during the original refurbishment. The components they installed are not quite right. Maybe they're defective, I don't know. But regardless, I am going to be redoing all of their work. So even if they did miss one of the components or one of the parts that they installed isn't quite right, I'm gonna be doing the replacement anyway. So what I'm gonna do is just plug it in and we'll see what happens. It might pop the fuse, it might cause a short, we'll see. Plug that in, okay. And here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, clicked on. I just turned it off, it clicked off. Let's try one more time. I mean, clearly it's clicking on and off. Nothing's popping. Let's turn it off one more time and let's do a check with our infrared camera to see if anything's getting hot. Okay, third power on. Still clicking on. Still nothing blowing up. Okay, let's take a peek. And the hottest part is going to be 39, almost 40 degrees. That's not bad actually. That's kind of what we want to see. Let's check the whole board. Yeah, 41. 41 is the hottest part, 42. Let's see, where is that? 47 once we get closer. And that's these guys over here. Okay, which were not touched. Those don't commonly fail, so I think we're okay. What I wanted to see is if these guys over here or over here were getting hot. So since that's not the case, I think we're okay. And we're gonna check our 13 volts. It's present. Let's check the V amp. We got it. And lastly, VDRV. And we got it. Oh, and we have B 13 volts. So we have 2 different 13 volt lines also present. So everything's there. Okay, that does confirm it. This power supply is fully functional. And we're gonna go ahead and add a little bit of gasket here on the center to reinforce. And when something like this breaks, it's a lot more fragile the second time around. So you definitely want to put enough so that it does not break again. And this is pretty strong gasket. It is automotive grade, so these guys should not go anywhere. For the purposes of this video, we're going to conclude it and say that this is working. However, we are going to be replacing the components that they had installed because we don't know if those were used, how much life is left in them, and they also only replaced one of the commonly failing transistors, not both of them, so we'll make sure to do both of those. If you're interested in watching the full repair video, I'll have it linked over here. You can watch that next. Otherwise, if you found this video helpful or useful, make sure to leave us a like, subscribe for more content, and thank you for watching.